Now notice I'm kind of leaving this go for a few moments. So we're going to leave that one go. But now we're reaching the same dilemma that we had with this. The next step is to bring these in. Now I'm just going to do this with each one of these because there's no set way of doing this. There's just a general strategy. For instance, I like the fact that these two are up here. Even though they're not where they need to be and they're not oriented correctly, it takes me away from here because I'm trying to get bandaging out. The fact that this lower level is not bandaged is also a pretty good sign. Because what that means is I can move, say, the green one into here comfortably. So, well, not with this one up. So what I might want to do is I might want to start moving some of these down. Yep, but we're bandaged with this. So if I move it in this direction, this can move. So what I'm going to do is now that I have this freed up and this freed up, I'm just going to Red Bull this down to bring it down. If I can, and I can. To R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, LI, to B, to R. Okay, so that will help free things up a little bit. Here's an orange. Can I turn this here, move it into here, and turn it up? Well, I guess I can. So that's a good thing. Now this green can come into here, turn, oh, wrong side, and move it up. This blue can come into here, wrong side, and up. Okay, so we have all these in, we just have to get them in the right area. So take this, move it out of the way. This belongs up here, just like this. So bring this down, move it in, bring it up. And now this orange will end up here, down, turn, bring it up. So this really isn't the hard part, and I did get kind of lucky with this one too. Down, turn, and up. Now these are done by sliding U techniques. Any that I can put in all at once? Nope. So move this in. Now the good news here is I've taken out all the bandaging. And because I've taken out all the bandaging, then I can just do these sliding U techniques to get everything where I need it to be. So this is really more the placement issue. Now you can see how this is a lot less cumbersome at this point than doing a 5x5 AI solve, which is really just a reduction to a 3x3. Instead of reducing it to a 3x3 corner by corner, edge by edge, I just did a 3x3 solve, and I'm doing kind of a floppy type situation. Okay, so this layer is in. Now, because this was a 3x3 solve, this layer is also in. I don't have to worry about that. As a matter of fact, I can place these pieces here because this is not the last two layer dilemma. The thing about a floppy cube, rather the thing about an iCube in general, is the dilemma is the last two layers. This doesn't qualify as the last two layers, so I don't have to worry about it. This layer doesn't qualify as that anyway. So green, I can't seem to find a green here, I can't seem to find an orange, and I can seem to find a blue. You sort of have to get your perspective on what layers are actually lining up with what, because you've had a cut down. So this is okay here. Turn. So the next layer up in a floppy iCube is available to you to place what needs to be placed. Turn, 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 and turn. Are we good? Nope, we have one more. Now I can't find it up here. This one actually doesn't go to this layer here, which means I have to find it from here. So it's the same piece as this, which means I have to find the red one here. If I find it here, then this will come here, this will come here, and this will come here. By moving this up, turning it to the side, down, and down. Okay, so all these are, whoop, one more. Got too overzealous there. Okay, So now we have the dilemma of the last two layers. Well, before I do that, let's go ahead and put these guys in, see where things are at here. And same kind of thing, I'm just going to look at windows of opportunity. This one can easily and comfortably come into here. This brought this one over here, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. This layer is freed up, which means I can potentially move it to here. So this is in, it brought this out, which is okay, because if I move this here, it'll take this green and put it to here. So again, this is, forgive me using the words intuitive, but kind of intuitive. This orange can come into here, which knocked this orange out, which is no worries. Whoop, a little bit of a worry, because I don't want to knock this out. So what I'm going to do is just place this anywhere for now. Now it's in the wrong place, but that's okay. This needs to come to here, so maybe, actually this one does. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, now I'm just going to put this any place where it can maybe fit. Okay, I'm just going to put this here so that these two are up here. Okay, this yellow one can come into here. Move it out of the way. Move this here, turn this here, move it in, move it up. So now that I have these fairly freed up, I can start isolating and putting them in to where I think they're supposed to be. So I want this to come up here, so I'm going to move this two out of the way, bring this down, move it to the side, bring this up. This green one will come into here, move it two out of the way, turn, turn, and up. So now this red one needs to come to here. So I wonder if I can move this like so, move this like so, double turn, move it up, and move this up. Okay, so I'm running into trouble trying to get this one in. So what I'm going to do is just move this opposite, bring this over here. Both of these are up. I'm going to bring this to here, bring this to here, so that they're opposite. And because we're completely freed up on both sides, we're going to Red Bull this down. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. Okay, so they're all flat. Now that I have them all flat, I'm just going to take this out, and I can manually put it in where I want it, which is here, exchange it with this, and then take this one out, put it in, and up. Now that I have that, I can finish forming this layer here. I got a whole bunch that I could use. Why don't I use all these three, like so, move all of these three in, move it out of the way, double turn here, move it back, all three back, turn, and turn. That got a pretty good amount done. How about these two? I'm going to move these two into here, move these two together, bump it out of the way, take it out in this layer, bump it back, these two come back, turn and turn. Any more that I can pair up? And no. So this comes in, turn, 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 and turn. So I'm just going to have to do them one by one by one. Well, maybe not. I'll put these two in, move it over here, move these two collectively back. All right, so I just had to do it from a slightly different angle. So that works. This is an edge. Whoop. Have to watch which direction I take it down in. Turn, turn, turn. turn. And finally, last and probably least, this one. Turn and turn. Okay, so with that said, I now do the edge layers. The edges that got reduced, I do these layers, leaving this last one here. So same kind of process here. I wonder if I can put these two into here. Turn, move it out of the way. As long as I'm moving it back in different layers, then it won't cause any trouble. And no trouble. Turn, 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 turn. And I need to fish it from up here, which will end up in this layer up here. So this will come down to here. So this brings to mind the skills that you used with layer by layer solve. This one will move into this position. If you move it up here, it's in this position, which means it's down here. So this red will pop into here. If I move this up, bring it to the side, down and down. Okay, so these layers are all solved, which leaves the last two layers here. And I will just get some more experience with these guys here too. And it's the same kind of concept. So let's see what we can use. Well, these two are where they need to be. And I freed up this layer and this. So I'm just going to do a quick red bull to get these down. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. So that was easy. Now this, can I easily move this in to where I want it? Well, I like to move it up to here. I've got this here. I've got this freed up, so I could go 1, 2, bring it down, 1, 2, bring it up. Now I think I pulled this one down here, but I'm not going to be able to easily get it into here. So let's see what else I can easily get in. Well, I've got this green. Can this green make its way to this? Well, I haven't freed up the bottom, so if I haven't freed up the bottom, that's not going to work. So let's see if we can move this one up. Well, this one is, again, focused wrong. So the best that I can do is move it up, so although these two are in the wrong place, at least it's not going to bandage the bottom. Still bandaged down here, so I'm going to want to move this up, and I'm bandaged from here. Which is fine, because I can just move it out of the way. So where can this move up? Right over here. So now the bottom is no longer bandaged, so this gives me an opportunity to maybe move some things in here, like so. Now, can I red bull these down? I can red bull these. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. So this is the only trick with not doing the AI technique, is you can see that there's a lot of planning and strategy that has to happen with this. I've got these guys that are kind of perpetually in the wrong position. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this down. Whoop. Move this red one up. Okay, so this is freed up over here. This is moved up over here. I've got this moved down. Now I'm going to red bull both of these down because I really want to move this out of the way from here. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, to B, to R. So the whole key here is operating within a situation where I'm freeing up the bandaging. So this can come up to here easily, like so. And this green one can come up to here now. So bump it out of the way, move it down, bump it in, move it up. So all of these are now fine. Fantastic. So now I want to move these in. I'm going to move both of these into place. And I'm even going to move this one into place. Because when I move it here, it doesn't intersect with any of those layers that I put in. So now I can move all these back, move it like so, and move all these in. So this way I can move a bunch in at the same time. Turn, and much easier to place than the AI techniques, I think. Much more straightforward. This moves into here, turn, turn, turn. A very unique kind of a solve experience. Okay. So all that's in, and now all of my cubic portions, my reductive portions of the solve can all be placed in my layer by layer technique. So it doesn't matter which one, it's any of these three layers, because when you think about it, I'm thinking of them all as the same layer. This was my cubic reduction, so this whole thing is thought of as one layer. So I'm just putting each one in that can be put in. So despite the size of it, the strategy holds true. Turn, turn. Plus you get to do a layer by layer, which I always find fun. And we're getting there. I've got two to choose from here. Two layers here rather. Turn, turn, and up, and up. That did a lot of work. Turn, 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 and turn. So there you have it. All these three are put into position, and now we deal with these last two layers. And it's just varying degrees of complexity. The first step is to get all the ones that belong here, out from here down to here. And that's going to be the same thing that we did with this guy over here. So we're going to find ones that don't belong up here, which is this, put it right next to ones that don't belong down here, and then we're going to do the same technique. Move it down, bring it in, move this up here, do a 2R, bring it down, snap it back, bring it back up, turn, down, and up. And I just keep doing that. So this doesn't belong here. So in this case, we're going to do a UI, L, DI, 2L, D, and this middle LI, DI, 2L, D, and this moves back to a U. I don't really have that memorized because it flows pretty quickly. I can more visualize and see what's going on, bring this down, and basically just moving this down, bring this up, putting another edge piece in, bring it back, down and up. So in that way, we're able to get all of these in. Now it just so happens in this particular case these are all fine, but it's really not what I wanted to do. The next step is to move these into the proper position. I just Red Bull these and it's up. So once again, I find myself without any issues of parity to deal with. These are automatically going to be aligned up to R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, LI, to B, to R. And now these guys here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do corner swaps. This will come here, but in so doing this will also come over here and be placed into next to this blue. So we have 2R U, 2R UI, 2R UI D, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This comes back. I do have placement over here, so I'm just going to do another edge swap to get this back. To R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U. What I have are these two are in, these two are in, and these aren't. So this is your typical floppy parity. And I'm going to solve it the way I would normally solve any floppy parity. First thing to do is to take the two that have to be exchanged and move them opposite to each other. So I'm going to flip-flop these two. To RU, to RU, to R, to U, to R, to U, to RU, to R, UI, to R. And now that I've got them opposite each other, I'm just going to flip them again to get this placement back. To R, to U, to R, to U. Okay, so with a floppy parity, what I'm going to be doing is I have to exchange these guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have to move them opposite each other. So I'm going to take this and do a 2B. Now I'm going to do a red bull to flip this over. To R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. Now why did I do that? I did that because this green, which is upside down, is going to be opposite this green, which is right side up. So when I go like this, I'm now going to flip these so that this green is going to be upside down, and this orange and yellow, which is upside down, is opposite one that's right side up. So now I'm going to flip these to put them in sync. To R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. And now we just pull this back and over here. And now these two are coordinated. We just have to red bull them to get them down. To R, to B, to U, L, to up, RI, to up, R, to up, to F, R, to F, Li, to B, to R. These are fine. Pull this back, and now these are all right side up. We had to pay a little bit of a price with the center here. Now to those who are thinking, that's a lot of red bulls, compare that to all the RIDARDing you'd have to do by doing an AI reduction. So it really is worth it. So these are all fine. Now what I have to do is just edge swap these to match them up. To R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U, which is fine, but what am I going to do about the placement here? Well, the thing about that is both of these are out. If I try to put them back, I'm going to create placement here as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this back, just the end here. To R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to do a URF algorithm to swap these. By swapping these, because it's an odd layer version, it's going to move the misplacement to here and move it to here as well. I'm then going to move these back, which will take the misplacement and move it out to here, which will become an even layer parity, or rather an even layer placement. Doing an even layer URF will not place the misplacement anywhere else. So odd layer placements place it somewhere else, even layers do not. Here's what I mean. Let's move these in first. To U, to R, to F, this is my F here, to U, to F, to R, to U, to F. It didn't move these, it moved the misplacement here, and it also caused the misplacement here. So I'd end up chasing my tail if I tried to move this in. However, when I move these back in, it's going to take that misplacement and move it out to here and out to here, making it an even layer version. To U, to R, to F, to U, to F, to R, to U, to F. This is back, and as promised, it's now moved it out to the side. When I do an even layer version of the URF, I do not get issues with placement at right angles. So hold it over here, even layer version, to U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U, and it's moved back, and all is right with the world. It takes that parity issue out, and because of that, I'm now ready to coordinate these edges. These two are in, these two are in, that's all that's in, so just do one edge swap, corner swap rather, to RU, to R, UI, to R, UID, to R, UI, to R, U, to R, this moves back. All these are coordinated. Now I just have to move these guys to R to U, to R to U, to R to U. And I'll move these guys. Now notice I don't have to coordinate the edges of the other layer. I had to do that with these guys. But I have extra pieces here which I can just put in with a sliding U technique. With here, I didn't have to do that. I didn't have any opportunities to do sliding U techniques, so I had to coordinate these edges with these edges over here. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is solve for this edge, and I don't have to coordinate it with this. So to R, U, to R, U, to R, to U, to R, to U, to R, U, to R, UI, to R. And the fact of the matter is, this is all in, and I don't care about what happens here because I can just move them in with sliding U techniques. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move both of these out because they both don't belong. And maybe it'll make things a little quicker. Okay, yellow. I'll move both of these out. Orange, rather. There goes my color blindness again. And turn. I'm going to move both these blues in at the same time. And that's good. All the strategy is done. All the strategy is finished. And done. Okay, not bad. Now what we're going to find is that these are solved the same way. And although it takes more time to do each layer, it's certainly easier than a sequential AI solve. So we just have to deal with these last layers over here. First thing to do is to move anything that's in this layer, any edge here to here if it belongs. So here's my yellow, here's this, same kind of thing. Move this down. There's no difference in the algorithm that I'm doing. No difference at all in the strategy. And turn. Okay, now I might not get so lucky with these scrambles. Will lightning strike again? So all these are positioned in the right place. Now I just look to see what has to be propped up. These are fine, out and out. Really hard to believe, but 2 red bulls will bring this in. There's no issues. Now sometimes what happens is that one is up, one is down, one is up, one is down. I have to treat that exactly like a floppy parody, but not because of color, but because of orientation. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R, this is up. Now this, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, Li, 2B, 2R. Okay, so now that I have all these oriented, I've got to permute them. To permute them, I look to see if there's 2 edges that are in. These 2 are in, these are not, and boy am I lucky. Again, I don't have any floppy parity. I'll take it. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn, turn, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Nothing easier than this. So all these are in. I just have to flip-flop these guys. 2R to U, 2R to U, 2R to U, 2R U, 2R U, 2R. Have you ever seen anything easier? Okay, now we just need to coordinate these. These 2 are in. All of these guys are in, but these are not. So I'm going to keep this in front of me so that I can now make it to where just one set is in, just like these. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. So in this case, I do have to coordinate the last 2 layers. Okay, so as promised, I have these in, and that's all. So 2R U, 2R UI, 2R, UID, 2R UI, 2R U, 2R. This moves back. So I just have to get these in. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. I've never had an easier floppy solve. Anyway, I'm going to move all these in. Whoop. Might as well do the right color now. This comes here, turn, turn, turn. So you should recognize this as my sliding U technique. No difference. These come into here, turn, turn, turn. It's almost like meditation. Doesn't require a lot of thought. You just do it. I'm going to move both of these out because only one belongs. Turn. And finally, this over here. Turn and done. Piece of cake. Now, should I be scared of this big guy? I don't think so. Well, what we're going to do next is we're going to move these into the proper position. Same thing with this. Same algorithm. Move it down. Move it over here. Up. Move it across here. And turn. And turn. Okay, this still doesn't belong. So I'm going to exchange it with this. Move it down, turn, double turn here, bring it back down, up, turn, and turn. Okay, so now we take a look and we see that these two need to be red bold and these two need to be red bold, but these can't. So we actually have a floppy parity here for the first time, but it really was no big thing because it's not as though we had to do a bunch of different layers. All these layers here, these all got solved by our base cube. So no matter how big this puzzle is, I'm not going to have like the 13 by 13 where I had to go layer by layer by layer. It's really just one layer. I have these two layers, and among these layers, it's not these pieces. They're always going to be in sync. It's these pieces. So it doesn't matter how big your floppy iCube is. It just means that you have more of a base cube solve. But the floppy part is really the same. But in any case, we'll go ahead and red bold these in. 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R. So that's in. Simply do this one. These are now all up. All I have to do now is place the corners. Are there two that's in? These two, not and not. So I got lucky because I don't have a floppy parity with this. So I just flip-flop these two, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, turn, turn, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. This is turned back, and now these corners are in. I just have to flip-flop them. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. One more. 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So the only danger that you have is getting distracted and making a blunder. But now we coordinate these guys here. I've got two that are in here, and I've got none that are in here. So we hold this in front, just do a random corner swap, 2RU, 2RUI, 2R, UID, 2RUI, 2RU, 2R. This moves back. I look for the two that are in, these are in. I look for the two in this, which are these two. Move these both to the left, and once again, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UID, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, this moves back. Okay, so now we just want to move these guys in. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, and once more. And we're not even going to have any placement issues. 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, these are just placed with a simple sliding U technique. I'll move both of these out because only one belongs. Turn, 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 and turn. So despite all the layers, if I just did the cubic solve, it didn't really add too much more to it. And one more, and it's done. So the thing about these floppy iCubes is doing your baseline solve will get them in. All the extra layers don't really mean anything. because all you're going to be doing is getting it down to the last 2 layers. And even the last layer, it doesn't mean much because you're just going to be dealing with these guys. Every layer before that is going to be taken care of. So it's sort of like it's easier than a floppy cube. Now I've been saving this because now I'm going to get to the answer to the question of which one is the more difficult. These guys had some sticky points, but this actually is more difficult than any of these because the bandaging that happens with this is actually critical. It's a lot like Justin's pocket 2x2. And this is where the real challenge is going to come up with.